that there are spiritual things going on in the world, and that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence, and that a ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way.
Y'all, this just got way uglier than we thought. You know how we thought Diddy's situation couldn't get messier? Well, Katt Williams just threw a whole gas can on that fire and lit the match himself. Now listen, Katt's always been the type to speak his mind. We've seen him hint at some shady stuff before, like when he went off on other celebs, name-dropping folks left and right. But this time, he's not dropping hints. He's throwing full-on accusations, and he's saying he's been talking directly to the feds. In some of his latest podcast clips and interviews, Katt Williams says he's been in contact with the feds. Not might be, not someone told him. He says he personally gave them information about Diddy and the circle around him. And the wild part, he doesn't sound scared. He's out here naming names, making claims, and acting like he's got nothing to lose. And let's be real, Katt's always been that guy who doesn't play the Hollywood game. So when he says he's not part of the machine and never has been, that lines up with everything we've seen from him for years. This isn't something he's just pulling out of thin air either. If you remember that viral sit-down he had with Shannon Sharpe, he teased a lot of this. He talked about shady parties, fake friendships, people selling their souls for fame, and he didn't just mention Diddy. He sprinkled in a bunch of other names too, and back then, folks thought he was just being messy. But now that the Diddy case is officially in court and we're seeing details in actual documents, a lot of what Katt said months ago is starting to look very real. For example, Katt hinted that there were celebs at Diddy's freak-off parties. The FBI and other investigators are literally mentioning celebrity-attended events tied to this stuff. That's not just random overlap, that's consistency. Katt also said he knows where the bodies are buried. Not literally, but in terms of the secrets people have been keeping, and now, with indictments on the table and court filings getting unsealed, it sounds like Katt's been holding onto receipts, just waiting for the right time to unload. He even made it clear that this isn't just about Diddy, and it's about a network of powerful people who looked squeaky clean on camera, but might be hiding things the public was never supposed to see. But Katt didn't just go after Diddy, he pulled back the curtain on some very famous friends who might be tied into this whole thing.
I think everything is controlled and regulated.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the names that have been popping up around this trial. And no, we're not talking about low-level assistants or random industry people. We're talking about Whitney Houston, Mike Myers, and Mariah Carey. Now, before y'all jump to conclusions, let's clear something up. These celebs aren't being charged with anything, but the fact that they're even showing up in connection to Diddy's legal drama, that's already bad news. See, what's coming out in the court filings is that Diddy allegedly held multiple parties and events that were later linked to the illegal transportation claims. The government is now referencing celebrity-attended parties in official documents, and these are the types of events where names like Whitney, Mike, and Mariah are said to have been present. Again, this doesn't mean they were involved in any crimes, but when your name pops up in paperwork about serious stuff like trafficking and racketeering, it creates a shadow. It makes people ask questions. And for Katt Williams, that's all he needed to say. Because now it looks like what he's been warning about isn't just coming from his mouth, it's being backed up in legal files. Let's rewind a bit, because the truth is, Katt's been dropping clues for a while. He didn't just wake up one day and decide to go scorched earth on Hollywood. He's called out people like Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Ludacris in the past, and it always seemed kind of random, right? Like, why is Katt beefing with them? But now we're realizing those weren't just beef. Katt was trying to tell us something. He basically told us, y'all worship these folks, but I seen what goes on behind the scenes. And now that the Diddy investigation is peeling back layers, a lot of what sounded like personal beef suddenly feels like exposure. So let's break this down celeb by celeb and show how deep these connections go. Let's start with Tyler Perry.
Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role. We put too much pressure on Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? He ain't put nobody on. The people that been in his productions, they not famous. All of them can walk through the mall without security. Be what you gonna be, but put your people on. If you a gay person and you in there, put some other gay people on. Put somebody on. Or don't be wondering why people keep saying gatekeepers. Because clearly, y'all are keeping these gates. Clearly.
Katt has revealed that Tyler didn't just rise up from struggle and stage plays. According to Katt, some of that early momentum, the kind that takes you from church theaters to massive movie deals, came with help from Diddy's people. He suggested that those first few Medea movie premieres, they weren't just grassroots events. They were reportedly organized by people tied to Diddy. Think about that. Why would Puffy's Circle be backing a gospel-style playwright unless there was a long-term investment plan? Katt's message here is subtle but sharp. Some of these self-made success stories might have been carefully crafted, with strings attached. Then there's Ricky Smiley. Now, to most of us, Ricky's just the funny guy from stand-up and radio, but Katt says, hold up, there's more to that story. According to Katt, Ricky was a regular guest at those private Diddy events in Atlanta, and not just as a partygoer, but as someone invited to the real rooms, the ones where deals were made and careers got shaped. Katt suggests Ricky didn't just blow up on his own. The machine placed him. When someone's career jumps from small-town comedy shows to syndicated radio with big contracts overnight, it's worth asking what deal was signed behind closed doors. Katt has also claimed Steve Harvey stole his sitcom concept, like literally took a pitch and turned it into the Steve Harvey Show. But it doesn't stop there. Katt also accused Cedric the Entertainer of taking one of his original jokes, one that Katt says helped Cedric shine in front of big industry heads. And guess where both Steve and Cedric have been spotted? That's right, at Diddy hosted galas and events. So the question Katt's been pushing is simple. Are these coincidences? Or are these examples of how people get rewarded for playing along? He's not saying everyone's guilty of something illegal, but he is saying these relationships matter and they're worth paying attention to. Now, this one caught folks off guard. T.D. Jakes, known for his powerful sermons and gospel leadership, has allegedly been seen at both spiritual events and some of the more private parties associated with Diddy's circle. Katt's not accusing him of anything directly, but he is pointing out the contradiction. When someone's out here preaching on Sundays and then reportedly showing up at questionable night events with celebrity elites, folks start to wonder, especially when those events are later mentioned in court documents. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart's name always comes up in conversations about success, but Katt has questioned just how fast Kevin's rise really was. According to Katt, a lot of Kevin's early movie deals and specials had Diddy's fingerprints on them, either through music licensing, executive producing credits, or production backers. Now, that doesn't mean Kevin did anything shady, but it does mean, as Katt puts it, that this wasn't done out of love, it was business. Puffy's people weren't just watching Kevin's rise, they were helping drive it. And when those kinds of deals are made, it usually means there's a trade-off: visibility, loyalty, or silence.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Katt Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter. Yeah. Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone.
This is where things really get messy. Jaguar Wright has claimed that Jay-Z not only helped silence artists who spoke up, but also allegedly set Diddy up to protect his own empire. Katt didn't confirm that directly, but he's definitely hinted at Jay playing both sides, like someone making calculated moves to stay on top while the rest fall around him. If that's true, that's not just industry beef. That's chess-level power moves. Because let's be real, Jay has remained almost untouched during all these explosions while everyone else is getting dragged. Alright, you might be thinking, this all sounds crazy, right? But let's not forget, this trial is very real and it's only getting uglier. So here's where everything breaks open. The actual court stuff. Federal agents raided both of Diddy's homes, and we're not talking about just seizing documents. They reportedly found serious material tied to things like RICO charges, witness tampering, and even one of the most disturbing things mentioned in the filings, a 13-year-old girl allegedly harmed after the 2000 VMAs. And the names involved? Jay-Z and Diddy. Let that sink in. And the worst part, the deeper these investigators go, the more names start to pop up. This isn't just a music industry scandal, it's a full-on criminal web. And if you thought Diddy was the only one getting dragged, wait till you hear about his son. Justin Combs, Diddy's son, is also being dragged into this. According to some court docs, he allegedly hosted a few of the infamous freak-off parties. Now, these were the same private events tied to the broader investigation, and Justin's name being linked to them, that's major. He's even mentioned alongside his father in several reports. And think about that for a second. Justin's out here trying to live his life, go to school, build his own name, and now he's smack in the middle of this storm? That's wild. Because when your family name is tied to this kind of scandal, it's not just about your dad anymore, it follows you too. And Diddy, he's not sitting quiet either. He's now being accused of tampering with witnesses. One of the biggest examples, Kenna Harper. She used to be in a band with Diddy back in the day, and word is she's been getting flooded with phone calls. Katt's not even trying to talk about it. He says Diddy's calling around, sending messages, even using other people to reach out, all to stop folks from testifying. And this isn't just about saving face, we're talking legal strategy here. If key witnesses suddenly go silent or disappear, that messes up the whole case. Katt Williams has been screaming about this for years. People laughed, people said he was just bitter or high or crazy, but now the dots are connecting. And maybe Katt's not the wild one, maybe he's just the only one who had the guts to say it out loud. And here's where you come in. What do you think? Do these celebs really know what was going on? Or were some of them just guilty by being in the room? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more updates.